All right, so let's continue on with example 2. For example 1, there was a shortcut that you may have recognized. If you didn't, don't worry about it. Just use the Xbox method. But if you did, please note that you cannot use the shortcut for the next example. And the reason is because this time we actually have an A that is not equal to 1. If you notice on the front page, for example 1, your A was 1. For examples A, B, and C, your A was equal to 1. In this case, our A is equal to 3. For letter B, it's 12. And letter C, it's 2. So if you figured out the shortcut, can't use it anymore. That's only when A is equal to 1. So let's get started. You've got A, B, and C. My A is here. B is here. There's my C. So let's get started with my X, my magic X. Now, hopefully you can eyeball these three numbers. The GCF is 1. 13 is a prime number, and so is 3. So we really can't, the GCF is 1. You can just look at that and tell. So now let's get started. 3 times 4 is 12. My letter B is negative 13. We need to find factors of 12 that when I add them, give me negative 13. So if I start listing them, and y'all, this is important. If you can't do it in your head, I don't trust your head, neither should you. Write it down. So my factors of 12 are 1 and 12, 2 and 6, 3 and 4. Between these three options, which ones could give you a 13 if you added them or subtracted them? Hopefully you'll see it's the first one. If I have a 1 and a 12, did I do that right? Whoopsie. Yep, we're good. If I have a 1 and a 12, how could I take these two numbers and get a negative 13? Well, I know that if I add them, I get a positive 13. How can I make it a negative 13? Hopefully you'll know if both of these numbers are negative, then that's where the negative sign comes from. Negative 12 minus 1 gives you negative 13. Negative 12 times negative 1 gives you positive 12. Got my magic X. So I'm going to box these, and now I'm ready to get to the box. 2 by 2. 2 by 2. Here's my first term. Last term. Fill it in. That's negative 1 times X. Negative 12 times X. Let's get our GCFs. First column. The GCF between 3 and 12, it's 3. Hopefully by now you know how to get the GCF of these variables. The GCF of x squared and x is just x. The GCF between 1 and 4 is just 1. Because this is a negative, the GCF is negative. No x variable, because the 4 doesn't have an x. How many times do I have to say that? It's getting kind of old. All right, go across. The GCF between 3 and 1 is just 1 for my variable x. The GCF between 12 and 4 is 4, but because this is a negative, my GCF is negative. And I don't have a variable because the 4 doesn't have one. They don't have any in common. So, done. Rewrite. There's my first binomial. There's my second binomial. I box my answer. Now, here's where it can get ugly. If you start making careless mistakes with your signs, I'm going to start making you box your answer to check it to see if you get what you start with. So I really strongly advise you to pay attention, because if you fail the mastery check, I'm going to make you box your answers to check to see if you get what you started with. If you don't, that means you made a mistake somewhere. So be careful if you don't want to have to box everything. Okay? Let's move to letter B. All right. My A is 12. My B is 8. My C is negative 15. These three numbers, there is no GCF. They don't have a number in common except for 1. So let's get our magic X. Oh, this is a big number. Don't panic. I am sure there is a calculator nearby. Get one. I'm going to get one. Get your calculator. Ask the calculator, what is 12 times negative 15? Hopefully it will tell you negative 180. Big number. My B is positive 8. So I need to think of numbers that when I multiply them give me the 180, but when I add them, give me the 18. Now, 180's got a lot of factors, but there should be just one pair that comes into play. I know because this is a 0 at the end, 10 times 18 gives me 180. Now, I can get an 8. How would I get an 8 between the 10 and the 18? I'd have to subtract, right? Now, here's the next question. What would I do to get which one of those numbers is negative? Well, since this is a positive, my 10 has to be negative because 18 minus 10 gives me the positive 8. Negative 10 times 18 gives me the negative 180. Now, I'm going to stop here because I'm getting close to 6 minutes. And in the next video,